We are live. Hang on, let me see if I can, if I can do it. Countdown.
Oh, there's no way.
Ready?
We're 10 episodes in and we haven't been able to do it yet. Well, look at us. We got on the internet. We did the countdown. We haven't said anything stupid up to this
Yeah.
point. So,
Yeah.
welcome to Road Comic Adventures, the dumpster fire that keeps on giving.
I would say that's accurate. That is accurate.
What's funny is people may notice we're in reversed places because I'm actually where you normally are, and you are in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, I had specifically asked you to focus your computer on the Marshall amplifier and not on the spackle marks to your Nobody needs to know that I have to paint over the spackle marks.
Well, I'm sorry. We were on here for 10 minutes before. You could have said, move your computer around, Blondie. You might as well start calling me Blondie because I've been acting like one since I got here.
I didn't even notice until we went live. I haven't figured out how to either sit lower or to raise the computer so it's coming like up, which I guess I notice I demonstrated up. So I don't think it's my best.
Okay, Superman. That looked like a Superman move.
How's this? Is this better?
Well, I never know what to do with this stupid thing, and I don't like it. And nobody needs a cleavage shot. God knows.
Needs?
You're not taking me off the rails tonight. Hey, I have worked really hard today. You know what I need when you get home?
The Need for Speed?
I need a spa day.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You know how you spell spa, don't you?
That's not nice. Holy crap, that was uncalled for.
Wasn't it, though? I bet it was.
You know how we don't have any sponsors for the show?
Oh, no, I know we don't.
Sometimes we have pretend sponsors, but we don't always have pretend sponsors.
Okay.
Today,
is it a hanger company?
It is not. It is not. However,
P.F. Chang's. We're more than just lettuce wraps. We've got something for the entire family. Now, some items may be a little bit silly to pronounce, may feel awkward. Boom boom shrimp, poo poo platter. But we have something for everyone.
Oh, you never cease to surprise and amaze me. By the way, let me just tell you, I would be a lot more willing to stay at home if you kept leaving those awesome meals for me. P.F. Chang's, yes, I know. Guess what I had for dinner tonight? Just guess what I had for dinner.
Did you have Mexican?
Not without you here. I didn't. Be kind of hard. I had chicken curry, and it was wonderful, wonderful. And
I love
then
curry.
Then I fixed the chicken that I'm going to eat the rest of the week while you're gone. And it's the chicken that I made. And I got to tell you, it looks like it's going to suck.
You know what the name of that chicken dish is named in my little recipe book
It's accidental curry, right?
Accidental curry, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot better than some of the things I've called it, since I'm not real familiar with a lot of Chinese dishes.
So,
No.
no, actually, this will be okay.
Okay.
So, I don't ever talk about my family on purpose, but at least on stage, I've mentioned that I have a son, and I do have a son. And over the last several years, he's become quite a chef. That's not his job; it's just a hobby, and he's really good at it. And so, and I've always cooked, and I've always been a pretty good cook, but he just inspired me. I mean, he's really, 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 really good. And so I decided to start expanding my menu in terms of what I would make, because I make a really good red beans and rice and spaghetti and a bunch of other stuff. But I started really expanding things. And so one day I thought I'd make something sort of with an Asian flair to it, and I didn't really have a name for it. I'm just throwing things in the pot and I'm stirring, and I don't even often taste as I'm cooking. I just throw things in and hope for the best. And so my kid was over, and I just made something sort of with an Asian flair and give it a shot. And he tasted. He goes, Did you mean to make curry? And I go, no, I don't know how to make curry. He goes, what do you mean? I go, I don't know how to make curry. I didn't want to make curry. I didn't plan on making curry. And he goes, well, you nailed curry. And so then I taste, it's like, holy crap, I nailed curry, which is why in the cookbook, well, my menu book, it's actually called Accidental Curry. And it's actually,
it was phenomenal. I will tell you that, and you may know this already, but the spaghetti you made me this week when you were home, I posted that on all of our social media because it was the most amazing spaghetti I've ever had. The sauce was awesome. You are a phenomenal cook. And as we've established, I'm from the Midwest. And what do we know about people from the Midwest? We are bland cookers.
I'm sure it's changed a little bit over the years, but especially when I started traveling in like 1847 or whatever that year was, way back when, throughout the Midwest, things did tend to be, I don't want to say bland, but not overly spiced.
Right. Not from like you from Phoenix, where there's a lot of Mexican inspiration.
Right.
And stuff like that. I mean,
so I went from Arizona, well, then to California, also with like Mexican food, and I'm in a host of other things in California, to Louisiana, which is Cajun food, and it's all really a variety of flavors and some spices. And so I've always sort of cooked with that in mind. When I used to travel early on in the early days, I was really surprised at just how different the food was in the Midwest, and especially the upper like Midwest. It was good, but it wasn't overly flavorful.
It's good and it's hearty food, but it's not spicy. You know, like I could make you chicken and noodles.
Right.
Can make homemade noodles, mashed potatoes and gravy, roast beef, but it's not going to taste anything like what you make. And I got news for you. My little chicken that I made, I looked at it and I go, oh, this is going to be pathetic. And I'm glad he still left me some stuff. So if I get really desperate, but I'm trying to say that so when you come home, you don't have to cook. And God knows I don't want you to have to eat my food.
Did you ever, when you were on the road, again, for those of you who don't know, Rene was a touring comic headliner for 30 years, retired from doing comedy around 2019. And
Right.
I'm fortunate enough to now have her going back on the road when it comes September. But instead of being on stage, she's going to be doing, well, managing my career, doing sound and lights, and a host of other things. We'll also be podcasting on the road. And so it's going to be a real fun road adventure, along with not only Rene, but Storm, the Road Comics adventure dog. So
Who is laying over here staring at me like, why are you talking to the computer?
did you ever make food rules for yourself when you're on the road?
You know, you would try to do that. I would try to do that when I was on the road, but people don't understand how hard it is when you're on the road. For example, just like we were talking, when you were driving down the road, there are certain places that everybody has their favorite restaurants or favorite places that they want to eat. But you get on I-10 in the middle of Texas, and let's face it, Dairy Queen is a fine dining establishment after a certain point. You know,
When,
it's not
when
like
you
the
run-
Cracker Barrel or any place.
when you get to the point where like you've passed the point where there's no Cracker Barrels, no Waffle Houses, no Stuckies,
Yeah, when you
or
told me you couldn't find a Stuckey's, I was like, oh man. Flip, where are you? You are lost in the woods.
there was like 400 miles where nothing. I mean, maybe the random Dairy Queen, and that was it. And so
Yeah, I wasn't kidding about that. And a
no,
lot of times in some of the towns, like I remember Carlsbad, New Mexico, and there might be a couple of little tiny Mexican restaurants in Carlsbad. And then there were like 8 Sonics, and you go, oh, thank God, we finally got to a good restaurant. We're at Sonic.
right? Like I wanted to pull over to Dairy Queen and then put my napkin in my shirt and some white gloves on and eat with my pinky out, because it was some fine dining at the DQ.
I know it was, and there was, I believe it was a Kenran run that went, you had to go from Carlsbad, New Mexico to Grand Junction, Colorado.
Right.
You had 24 hours to do it.
Wow. That's a
the first 500 or 600 miles of it, there was nothing. Nothing. We stopped at McDonald's on the way out of Carlsbad, and 6 hours later, we still haven't had anything else to eat. And there had been no convenience stores. It's like no snacking or anything. But
wow.
people don't understand, a lot of times on the road, you're driving so far between gigs. If you're doing, like the Comedy Zone used to set up, where Tuesday night was one place, Wednesday night was another, Thursday night was another, and then Friday and Saturday you were at the same place. Well, in between all those other places, you could be driving maybe an hour and a half. It might be 7 or 8 hours between runs. And you're lucky if you're picking up cheese and crackers on the road.
Right.
So having some kind of diet on the road is almost impossible. That's why I told you before we go on this road trip, I actually wanted to lose enough weight where I was way underweight, because I know there's no way I'll be able to stay on a diet while we're out on the road. And I'm going to try not to make your life any more miserable than I absolutely have to.
No, you are incapable of making my life miserable, but I understand what you're saying. So things are really, really different now. In 35, 40 years ago, when you would fly, airport food options were few and far between, very expensive and pretty marginal. And then
you got to choose between the hot dog or the hamburger.
Right. And I mean, over the last 20 years, things at airports have really improved. They're still really expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's expensive, but there's all kinds of options. It used to be that way around the country as well. Now around the country, no matter where you go, there's pretty decent options, and in many cases, a variety of types of American and ethnic cuisine. But way back in the day, that wasn't the case. And so when I was like 23, 24, 25 years old, I made very specific like food rules for myself. So as an example, I don't eat fish, but I eat like seafood, like shrimp, crab meat, lobster, whatever. But like I won't eat seafood in a landlocked area. Like that was just a hard and fast rule. I wouldn't eat Mexican food north of the Arizona border or east of the Texas border. So the only places I would eat Mexican food would be California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. That was it. Now, again, you can find really good Mexican food all over the country, but way back when, that wasn't always the case. Go ahead.
I was just going to tell you, airports have gotten amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know in the Atlanta airport, they actually have a full day spa there?
I think in Houston also, I think.
But, and it's, I mean, you could spend, if you got an 8-hour layover, you can go to the spa and spend the whole 8 hours.
I ended up eating, well, you have to really plan for a long layover. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
I know that you know that I know that you do. I'm trying to get you off the rails, but instead I'm getting myself off the rail.
In like 80, I don't know, maybe in 1986, I was working at a club called Cartoons in Salt Lake City. And I went to a Chinese restaurant. And now, again, I'm sure today there's amazing restaurants in Salt Lake. 1986.
Not so much?
Probably not as much as there is now. But
people didn't eat out. Back in those days, people didn't eat out all the time.
Well, they didn't eat out all the time. And I don't think the country's I don't think the country was as diverse back then as it has become over the years.
Right.
I don't think. So all the people that worked at this Asian restaurant looked like me. And my server was this gal, and she was young, probably early 20s. And I had ordered some kind of a soup, and you know how they have those porcelain spoons?
Sure.
So the soup came, and I picked up the spoon, and it just had dried, hard, crusty stuff on it. So I sort of motioned for the server to come over, and she goes, "Yeah, can I help you?" And I go, "Yeah." Holding up the spoon, I go, "My spoon is dirty. It's got something on it." And she took it from me, and she goes, "That's dried sweet and sour." And then she handed it back to me. And I go, I didn't want you to identify it. I was hoping for like a new spoon. And just because I didn't say what it was that was on the spoon, it's clear that it didn't come from me. It'd been on there for a while. And so I had decided then and there that if I'm going to go to, say, like a Thai place, Vietnamese place, Chinese place, Japanese place, that I wanted someone who worked there that sort of represented the culture, because I thought they might take more pride in the restaurant. So that was another rule.
I would have given $1 million to see the look on your face when she goes, "Oh, that's dried sweet and sour," and handed you back the spoon.
Shock.
I would have. That's one of those live or die moments.
And I wasn't even mad. I was more like, and I love this word because I was flabbergasted. And I was.
Yeah. By the way, you know my grandchildren now have become a tad bit familiar with you and some of your antics. And one of the updates you sent me, I think it was from this morning that I posted, said, see what kind of shenanigans you could get into.
Yeah.
And they're like, shenanigans? Really? And I'm like, yeah, he said shenanigans.
That's how I roll. By the way, the PF Chang's commercial, I woke up this morning still in bed, one eye still closed, no contact lens in. And I said, I'm making a commercial. And I made it in bed, like still laying down without being able to see out of either eye, giggling the entire morning before we spoke.
Sometimes you're so charming.
Is that what we're going to call it?
As long as we're on the air, that's what we're going to call it. I have learned a few lessons. I really thought, when you sent me the last video that you sent me today, I would have bet that there was a hanger commercial coming.
No, because that would have been too obvious.
Yeah, you surprised me with the PF Chang, but you've surprised me quite a few times today.
Well, PF Chang's, you never, like, some of their dishes, they're more than just lettuce wraps. Let's be clear. And then some of the items on the menu, a little hard to say.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you were really close to me posting some food and me naming it something that meant you would retire after 40.
Yeah, that would have been one of the best posts ever, and at the same time a career ender.
Yeah, because I just thought I never know with you, but I'm learning to tiptoe through things so we don't get hung up on anything. Because also the discussion this afternoon was enlightening as well.
Well, so
you can try. This is so much fun watching you trying to keep things on track. You know what it is? Flip, it's your chair. Look at me. I wondered how you could get so relaxed doing the podcast.
Oh, I kicked my feet up and
my feet are up.
Yeah.
I'm leaning back in the chair.
Yeah, you're starting to disappear. You're in the lower right corner.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm good with this. I'm really good with this. And watching you squirm and try to keep things on track. You want to talk about food? I got news for you. I don't think I want to. So now what are you going to do?
I may not be smart enough to be put on the contract, but I sure am pretty enough to be put on that contract.
What? SPA, that's what I always say. Actually, we won't put your name on the contract. We could actually do things with you doing an AKA, and then you could just put your initials BT.
Now you're just being a dick.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but tell me you're not enjoying it.
No.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. That's all I'm saying. Let's see what your friend Mark has to say, if he has any comments about how we should organize our show tonight.
Well, I know Mark thinks that our podcasts need to have much more Mark involved. They need to be more Mark-centric. than they have been in the past.
He hasn't shown up for the last couple.
Well, that's true. That makes it hard to make it Mark-centric.
Yeah. So, and he was in Orlando. He and I could have gone out drinking.
I know. And he likes a cocktail too. Actually, he's more of a beer guy. But he likes a beer too. There's no doubt. I think he would have had fun.
Yeah. I would have been happy to see him.
Oh, shit. Read your comments. I'm just on to boost my numbers. Last week was disappointing. Mark volume was. Hey, Mark, would you ever be interested in and or willing to be a guest on our podcast one of these days? By the way, I haven't asked Rene her opinion yet. So if you don't get an invite, you will know who is not interested.
Mark, I've said all along. Oh, Mark, if you think that doing a body shot with you would scare me, I have hours of video and I have witnesses that will tell you pretty much I did body shots on stage every night. And I don't know how you want to do it, but either I could do them to you or you could do them to me. It's kind of like, who do you want to be on top?
Well, I could answer that, but I'm not gonna.
Because you know which one he wants on top?
No, I'm just going by, my preferences in the past.
Pretty quiet now, Mark. That's all I can say. Mark, you don't even want to try with me. This is not my first rodeo, my friend.
Oh, I know that from previous podcasts.
Ah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right, because Bill spilled the beans.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because he was on vacation the first time I did it at his club. He was a little shocked to see that. Because with men, I would have them lift up their shirt and I would lick the waistline.
Oh.
I got to pick the guy, so I kind of knew what I was doing. And to be willing to be a guest, especially since it's obvious that I would not have to shave. Is he on you?
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Well, I'm walking away. Whoa, walking away. Mark, I would love to have you as a guest. I say every week, Mark is my favorite.
Mark, I'd like you to be a guest. I wouldn't like it. I'd love it. Love it.
Well, I got to tell you, next week we already have one guest scheduled. It's my friend Mike Rivera, stand-up comic for longer than I was. And of the guys who I worked with a lot, you'll really like him. He's very funny. Very funny and a very good guy. But the week after that, we don't have anybody, Mark. If you could work us into your busy schedule.
Oh, we can plan ahead 2 weeks from today. Mark, what do you think? What say you?
Where will we? Oh, we'll be at home, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah.
I get back to Lafayette probably a week from tonight. I'll be back Tuesday because I've got here, shameless plug. Tomorrow morning, KUPD with John Holmberg, Brady, and Brett. And then Wednesday and Thursday, shows at the Desert Ridge Improv, which is North Phoenix. By the way, Thursday, I'm doing noon or one, some TV, little TV hit. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the Tempe Improv. Monday, I'm starting my trek back home. We'll be home Tuesday, and then we'll do the podcast from home Tuesday.
Okay.
And then we're going to be home working out some kinks. Not a word, Rene. Not a Icksnay.
Hey, let me tell you something.
That was a preemptive Icksnay.
I know now. You only have to tell me like 5 or 6 times.
Fair enough.
Before I catch on.
Martin, is that you also on the podcast? Martin? Hello. Or Jeremiah? It's either Martin or Jeremiah, or it could be Daddy O. Those are the only three other options. And then we're the rest of August, we're working hard on the production aspects of the show that we want to do when we start heading out to our first run of theaters in September.
Plus, I'm still working on booking more theaters.
Which is exciting.
And just so you know, some other things.
All right. Don't be a blurter.
I'm not going to blurt. I'm not going to blurt, but I don't. Well, I don't blurt my own stuff. I just blurt your stuff. What I told you, I am going to have a spa day soon. I have been working my fingers to the bone.
Knock it the F off. So, like, you would invite, I invite volunteers on stage because that's a good portion of my show, right? But it's my stage. When I'm up there early on, it's just me on stage. When I invite volunteers, I've got people on stage with me, but it's my stage. And I'm comfortable with that. I used to work a club, which I think, did you work Jody's Comedy Club in Bossier City?
No.
Heard of it or not?
It closed.
Well, it's closed now.
I know, but I think it closed pretty early on in my career.
I love that club. I worked there. I want to say that was a Ken Rand gig. I'm pretty sure it was. And I used to work it often. I love that club. I had a lot of really fun shows there, and I got to be really friendly with the people there. I won't swear that it was Bill Hicks, but I think it was Bill Hicks. But I won't swear to it, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. But early on, I think if it was Bill Hicks, he worked there too. And they had a stage on a corner, right? So, and then on each wall, they had 8x10s of comics on the walls.
Right.
And rumor has it, I wasn't there for it, so this is just a story I was told. And if it wasn't Bill Hicks, I apologize. But he would go, like when I was on stage, he was just looking at different comics, and he took the microphone and he goes, "See this guy here? Hack." And then he smacked the microphone against the picture and smashed the glass. And he goes, "This guy, hack. That guy, hack. That guy, not funny." And he just smashed up like some number of the pictures that were on stage.
Oh, wow.
So one year I worked Jody's Comedy Club on what my birthday fell on that week that I was there. And unbeknownst to me, they got me a stripper, which I didn't know, didn't expect, and didn't want. And so before I asked for volunteers on stage, I'm up there and I'm doing my opening and whatever. And all of a sudden, some woman starts coming towards the stage, and I'm like, "Excuse me, ma'am, I'm not looking for volunteers just yet." And what made me think of this is you talking about you and Mark doing body shots, and you doing body shots with men on stage. And so this woman's like heading up towards the stage, and I'm like, "No, ma'am, I'm not looking for volunteers yet." And then she gets up on stage anyway, and now I'm looking to the club to help me by bouncing her. And she gets a chair and she pushes me in the chair, and then she does like a private table dance for me on my stage during my show on my birthday. It was one of the most miserable experiences I've ever had on stage as a comic. I hated it.
Do you remember me telling you, I toured with 2 male reviews. Now, I got to tell you, when you're a female comic and you can replace a male stripper, I think that's versatility at its best.
It says a lot.
It's a PG-rated podcast, so I won't say what I started to say. No, it's really funny. One of my friends ran a male review, and one night one of his guys got sick, and he goes, "This guy hosts my show." He goes, "What am I going to do?" And I go, "I'll host it for you." And he goes, "Do you think you can?" Yeah. I mean, anybody can host a show. But the guys realized that contrary to my stage character, and this is something that you know that not a lot of people do know, my stage character is very
Rockets?
yeah. She is a lot more outgoing than the real me is. I'm probably the quietest person in the room, which will make all of my friends laugh. But I'm very quiet. I'm kind of reserved, and I'm not gutsy. Gutsy was the alternative word for what I was looking for.
Right.
But these guys didn't know that because they had seen my comedy show. So they thought I was a little wild and a little crazy. And so I'm introducing these male strippers, and they are doing the same thing to me, putting me in a chair, dancing, taking their clothes off down to a G string. And I was like mortified. And and you know how I blush at the drop of a hat. And I was like, please stop. And they would take your hands, and I'm sure the girl did too, and like put them on their butts and stuff. And I'm like, I'm uncomfortable with this. And they're like, oh, come on. You can't. Yes, I am uncomfortable. Where a lot of women would have said, oh, I'm in heaven. No, I was mortified. But and one night they picked me up, and I'm like, I'm wearing a skirt, for crying out loud. and you don't know what I have on underneath here, so please stop putting me in those positions. It was just really funny. So I totally get what you're saying. When it's your stage and you're in control, it's different when something like that happens.
Yeah, it was wildly uncomfortable. I was married. I've been married, as some of you who will watch this know, multiple times. One of my wives, and I had a couple friends, like two other couples of friends, so like 6 people in total. And we went from Lafayette to New Orleans, and we're kind of walking around New Orleans, the French Quarter, we're eating and drinking, whatever. And then some of the people got the bright idea they wanted to go to a strip club, which, whether people believe me or not, doesn't matter. I'm not a strip club person. They're not my cup of tea, for what, whatever. So, so the 6 of us, the 3 women and the 3 guys, would go to a strip club, and loud music, smoky, this thing, that, whatever, fine. And then after about an hour or so of that, the women got really kind of testy, and they go, "We've gone to a strip club with y'all. We want you guys to come to a strip club with us." And the other 2 guys were really, really, really opposed to the idea, but I didn't care because I don't like women strippers and I don't like men strippers. I don't like strippers. So I'm like, oh, I was miserable for the last hour. I can be miserable for another hour, watching a different set of strippers. So ultimately we ended up going to a male strip club, which this is as low rent as it gets. You know how, like, when women strip, that there's a DJ coming to the main stage. It's bubbling, right? They didn't have that. Like, a guy would come up to the main stage, and I swear to you, I'm not kidding, he had to pull a quarter out of his clothes and stick it in the jukebox to play whatever tune he wanted.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then, you know how like women, where they strip on the main stage, there's lights, and, it's very sort of Las Vegas-y.
Right.
So if you wanted like a light show as a male stripper in the strip club in New Orleans, you had to dance next to the light switch on the wall. And then as you're dancing, the guy was flicking the lights up and like on and off to show like a strobe light.
Oh my God.
But he had to be like, his arm, the entire time his arm was extended so that he could have his hand on the light switch so he could strobe the light.
Well, I'm really laughing because, one of the groups I worked with was the Chippendales. And not only was it not like that with them, everything was choreographed, including at one point they said to me, if you're going to ride, if you're going to ride with us, meaning do all the shows, because at one point the Chippendales put me on as a regular member of their crew.
Oh, wow.
Because I did the hosting and the MCing with them. They go, "Do you know how to dance?" Well, as a kid, I took dance lessons for years and I love to dance. And so they started working me into the routines. But I didn't have to flip the light switches, thank God. And let's just hope that when we're on the road, you do know I'm not planning on flipping any switches, right?
I do know that. The story is not done though.
Oh, it's not done. Oh God, please let it be.
So
I'm surprised. Actually, male strippers are very funny about having other men in the club. Usually,
they didn't have high standards, I don't believe.
Imagine my surprise.
In the French Quarter in New Orleans in those days. So he's strobing the lights. I almost said strobing himself, but I knew where you'd go with that. He was strobing the lights, and like nobody was tipping him. Nobody was coming out of the audience and tipping him. And it was almost as if most of the people there weren't even paying all that much attention. So at one point he turned the lights off and he turned with his back to the audience and the front of his body towards the wall. And I saw his arms moving, and I'll put this as delicately as I can.
Oh dear God, no.
I thought in his mind, he was thinking, like, I'm not getting tips and nobody seems to be interested. So at least I'm going to give myself a happy moment. And I thought, like, I don't, even in the French Quarter in New Orleans, I don't think that's legal, but like, who am I? You know, years later, I'd see a homeless guy in Phoenix doing the same thing, whatever. So next thing I know, I swear to you, this is true. The guy turns around wearing nothing but a G-string. And this guy was like, I don't know, 5'5", maybe weighed 120. He was not like, he's not a Chippendale. He's not like that caliber. So just in a G-string, and he like does a jump turn halfway in the dark because again, the light was off. And he took a match and he threw the match on his G-string and he lit his G-string on fire. And what he had been doing, I didn't realize at the time, was he was pouring lighter fluid on his G-string. And it wasn't like a suicide attempt. I guess it was like asbestos. I don't know what the hell it was. But now he's dancing with a G-string on fire. And
that'd be like somebody using something like Icy Hot or something. That'd be stupid, wouldn't it?
With you today. But like, I gave this guy a standing ovation, and then when he came on, I ran to the stage and I tipped him a $5. I was the only one in the room who tipped him. I tipped him
in the G-string that was on fire.
Well, I didn't put it in his G-string. I threw it down. Yeah, I'm not, But I got to be honest, that dude was working hard for his money, and it's the only time in a strip club I can honestly say that I was thoroughly entertained.
Did you just say to me in a tone, what is with you today, and pretend like you don't know that you started?
I can neither confirm nor
deny. Are you entertained yet during our little podcast? Are you?
Are you talking to Mark or Martin?
No, I was talking to you.
Oh, all right.
Actually, we have 4 people in here now.
4 people. I bet it's Jeremiah and Daddy-O.
Look but I ask you a question. Are you entertained with our little podcast tonight, are you?
I don't know if anybody's having fun. I am. I'm having fun.
I'm having a ball. I am going to have to get up. You know what I realized? Daddy-O.
I know.
Hello,
Daddy's in the Phoenix Tempe area. I know exactly who that is.
And
Happy birthday, Daddy-o.
Daddy-o, I like that.
So
Can you
when we're
excuse me a minute while I go get my coffee?
will you get coffee? I'm going to tell another strip club story.
Oh, dear God, then I'll be gone for a while. You know what's funny? Is literally me sitting in this chair tonight, in your normal chair.
Right.
And after the afternoon we've had, I find it interesting that I'm the one that is being the one that's the instigator where you normally are.
You're being mean.
I just think it's cheery.
You're being mean. Why
Is
you
it
got
a little? It's not mean
why you got to be like that?
because I'm sitting. It's this chair. I swear to God, it's this chair. It must do that because I remember being the one sitting in the chair that you're in, squirming. And tonight it's a lot more fun watching you do a little squirming, little squirmy squirm.
Not right. That's not right.
I bet Mark could take my side, wouldn't you, Mark? Come on,
We're
Mark.
not going to wait for an answer.
Oh, all of a sudden you're not. No, I just want to grab my coffee. It's on the bar. Is that all right? Do you mind?
Yeah. And I'm going to start my strip club story. So, as I mentioned, don't get me wrong. I understand strip clubs, whether it's Chippendales or whether it's whatever women's stripping or whatever. It's just not my thing. And I can go into details as to why. I'm neutrally switching. Good for you, Mark. I can go into detail as to why it's not my thing, but I'm sure no one cares, and that's fine. I used to be really good friends with a guy who loved strip clubs, loved them, and would go all the time. And it didn't matter who was with him, he would always find his way to a strip club. And so I got to the point where when I was out with him and his wife and some of their friends, I always knew that was a possibility. So one night we ended up at some club, actually in Phoenix, and this guy's name was John. And John used to like to buy lap dances for people, not to be generous, but he used to buy lap dances for people to watch them squirm because he was an instigator and he liked to make people feel uncomfortable. So I'm sitting.
What kind of friend is that?
No one I want to be around. So so I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I see the stripper come up to me, and I'm like, "No, just take the money," and no, thank you. And the song goes on. She starts dancing. I'm like, "Oh, that's really nice." And I'm trying to have a conversation with her because I don't know how to act in a strip club. So as opposed to just leering, I'm asking her, "Is she working her way through school? What's she studying?" And she's dancing away, and I'm trying to make eye contact, and I'm trying to have a conversation. And at one point, like she straddled me, and then she sat down on my lap facing me, and she got this really interested, almost excited look on her face, like, right? And I knew what she was thinking, and I wanted to let her know what was going on because she had drawn a really false. She came to a false assumption, and I didn't want her to go on this assumption when it was so wrong. So she's sitting in my lap and she's kind of wriggling, and I go, "Excuse me, excuse me, you need to stand up for a minute." And she goes, "What?" And I go, "You need to stand up for a minute." And she goes, all right. And she stood up. And in those days, I used to have like a long wallet where you stick your money in and it's flat, right? You don't fold the money. It was like, and I never, ever in my entire life, I've never kept my wallet in my back pocket. So my long, hard wallet was in my front pocket. So when she stood up, I pulled my wallet out of my pocket. I go, It's not what you think it is. And she goes, mid-song, turned around and walked away. Didn't finish the dance. She just walked away. I don't know if she was angry or embarrassed. But again, I take it back. Second time ever in a strip club where I was wildly entertained.
See, I worked the female strip clubs too. These bookers would send me in and go, the girls would get up and they would do 10 girls, each doing 2 dances each. And then when they were done with that round, they would put me up for like 15 minutes.
Right.
And the girls, I thought, would not like having me there because I thought it was taking up their dance time. But in reality, the girls were really nice because they would go, we can't call these guys names or anything. We have to be nice to them. But they would come back and say to me, you see that guy on the 3rd row in the red shirt? He's an asshole and he did this. Will you yell at him when you go up there? Sure, I'll yell at him, But I'm not kidding. I'm uncomfortable in those kind of places. You know how I am.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I am too.
Yet I don't know where to look, but because, well, first of all, male or female, either way, I'm just uncomfortable with that. And so I spend a lot of time knowing, I knew what everybody's eye color was. Well, because
that's it. I get eye contact too. I know you're not you, the universal you. I know that you're not at a strip club to be making eye contact or having chit chat, but I'm wildly uncomfortable with it too. So like, I'm not like scoping the person up and down. I'm just looking in their eyes and trying to get to know them.
And it's funny because people would probably think we're the most outgoing people in the world. And in reality, most of the time, most of the comedians that I know are really very quiet, socially awkward people a lot of times because we do spend a lot of time alone. Comedians do.
Yeah.
Hours in the car riding, you're in a strange city with strange people. By the way, Mark says, I'm neutral like Switzerland. Mark is a chicken.
So real quick. So next week is a guest.
Mike Rivera.
Mike Rivera. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, we're having one of our favorite people, Mark, who's going to be a guest on the show. And then we plan on having more guests going forward. Not that Rene and I don't love talking with each other, and we can talk not just for an hour on a podcast, but we talk hours a day. But I think it'd be really fun also, and I think you would as well, right, to bring in other voices.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Lance Montalto, who is one of Louisiana comic working the cruise ships, September 15th. As soon as he gets back to land, he's coming in on September 15th to do our podcast. And Carl Falkenberry, who, when you mentioned Bill Hicks,
right?
Carl Falkenberry, one of my old friends, used to be with Bill Hicks as one of the comedy outlaws from Houston. And when he gets off the ship, his first Tuesday off the ship, he wants to come in and be on the show too.
Are we going to get Jimmy Pineapple at some point as well?
Jimmy doesn't want to do the podcast. He goes, I did a lot of drinking and my memory sucks. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm on the podcast. Jimmy Pineapple and I had some great times on the road. He's a really good guy, and he lives here as well.
For those of you listening, watching who may not know, back in the day, whatever that day was, there was a group of comics out of Houston, Texas, which were both famous as well as infamous. Bill Hicks was huge as a part of that, as was Sam Kinison, the Shannon brothers, Jimmy Pineapple, and they were known as the Outlaws of Comedy. And they were irreverent and funny as hell. And they were just pure comics and really didn't like hacky, shticky comedy or variety acts. In fact, we were talking to Jimmy Pineapple recently, and one of the Shannon boys, T-Sean Shannon, once allowed me to sit on the couch in his house and told me, because a lot of people unfortunately view me as a variety act, which I don't think I am, but a lot of people think that I am. And T-Sean Shannon actually said, "You're the first and only variety act I've ever let sit on my couch."
Well, also, one of the old things to do was, do you remember when comics signed the walls in the comic? Yeah. And there was a great comic named Frankie Bastille. As a matter of fact, he was almost on Saturday Night Live, but he scored heroin on the way to the last audition, so he never made it. But Frankie Bastille was really funny, but he also was one of those guys signed every comedy club wall with "Death to Jugglers." Frankie Bastille.
I didn't know that.
And he had the funniest one of the funniest lines that I ever heard him say, because much like you, he had been divorced on several occasions.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, and he had a real gruff voice. He goes, "I thought I'd never get married again. Then she said the 3 words I'd long to hear. I'm a pharmacist." And
if you have a problem with drugs, you should at least have a sense of humor about it.
yeah, and he did. That's how I wound up being his opening act, because he wanted to clean up, and because if somebody wanted to clean up, I was the person to watch after him.
Right.
So, What do you mean you've chosen your side, Mark? I've been saying you're my favorite since you sent that first email that he told me about. So I'm just saying you better pick me.
The first, Rene and I started talking with each other. We'd met 35 years ago. And then she refused to keep in touch. So it was roughly 35 years where she got a hold of me 23 weeks ago and some change.
23 weeks and 2 days.
So we started talking like every day. And the first several conversations we had, doing some reminiscing and talking about some of the comics we know, have known, have worked with. And it seems like the first several days of conversations, every comic that one of the two of us would bring up has since passed away. And we got really kind of freaked out that we...
Yeah, you're right. You guys will have to read your own comments, because I'm not reading that out loud.
You barely stopped yourself from calling me a cat, but I forgive you.
Yeah, you were right. I was thinking it. But what you're talking about, the conversation we had.
Every comic I was dead.
Yeah, you would mention a comic to me and I'd go, "Oh, dead." It got to where it was like, and you go, "But how about dead? Dead." All I said was dead for 3 days.
Yeah.
And you do know Bill Hicks is dead, right?
Really? Next, you're going to tell me Sam Kinison passed away.
Are you going to be snotty like this with me? Because
in a Corvette driving back home from Las Vegas, wrapping around a pole, I think.
Are you going to be this sarcastic? Are you really?
I saw Kinison in the main You didn't like my segue?
That wasn't a segue. You jumped off a big freaking bridge, for crying out loud. It's here. I swear to God, because you know.
Did you know that a company out of England bought bought the Segway company?
No.
You remember the Segways, right?
Oh, I know the Segway. Yeah.
And then the CEO of the Segways, I think in England, once or two, but I think so, they were developing, I swear to you, this is either true or it's a TED fact, but I think
Oh
it's
my
true.
God. Okay.
So the CEO of the company that bought Segway, they were developing an off-road Segway. And so he got one of the off-road Segways from R&D and he was trying it out. And as the story goes, I believe he accidentally rode the off-road Segway off a cliff accidentally and died. I mean, we're going to need to Google it. And if it's a TED fact, it's still worth telling, but I think that's true. Are you going to Google it?
Well, of course I am.
Okay. So I saw Kennison in LA at the Comedy Store. He was in the main room, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant.
Did the Segway owner go off a cliff and die in a Segway accident?
Please be true. Please be true. Please be true.
Yes, it is true that Jimmy Selden, the owner of the Segway company, died in a Segway accident. In 2010, he was riding a Segway on his estate when he went over a cliff and into a river. The accident happened near his home in West Yorkshire, England.
Now, I want to be very clear for those watching. I'm not happy he died. I'm not happy he had an accident. I'm happy that I have a really
But if
good
he
memory.
was going to die and have an accident, let it be on a Segway, because that's funny stuff.
Oh, it's funny as hell, but you can't use it as a commercial. Like, hey, we have a great off-road Segway. Don't let what happened to our CEO discourage you from picking one up yourself.
Well,
Segway.
that's like, what was the runner guy that was like, oh, running is everything. Everybody should run. It's great exercise. And he died of a heart attack while he was out on a run.
Within the last 5 years?
No, been longer than that.
Okay. Well, look at me. I don't run, and I'm still here.
And I'm happy about that.
Kennison was so funny.
I got to open for Kennison.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm. He was really a nice person.
Oh, he's asking if Jim Fix is the runner who died.
Yes, that's the one. By the way, actually,
my ear sucks.
Felipe, she called you Felipe.
We didn't discuss my doctor's appointment on this podcast, did we?
Yes, you did.
Last week we did.
Felipe, and you know who that Ashley is. You know who the Ashley is.
Is that who I think it is?
Mm-hmm. That's why she wants to know how your ear is, and she's telling you that she's watched one of our podcasts.
So this is
my act.
Now to all of you people watching, feel free to listen in. I'm talking to Ashley. So just talk amongst yourselves. My ear is better, and beyond my ear, the things that were really bugging me through like my jaw into my throat are considerably better. However, there's still fluid. It's still like it feels like the ocean. Like I can actually feel squishing going around, and I don't know what to make of it. It's aggravating the hell out of me. So, but thank you for asking. I appreciate it, and thank you for all your help too. Appreciate it. Did I tell me about opening for Kennison?
So I was in Louisville, obviously, and part of my job was working in the office for Sobel, but I would also go to the airport. I was one of the people that Sobel trusted to pick people up on time and everything. So I went to pick him up at the airport, and I was kind of shocked when he opened my car door for me.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at him really funny, and he goes, "I'm a character on stage." And I go, "I get that." And he goes, "I'm a pretty nice guy." And I go, "All right." And he goes, "Thanks for coming to pick me up." And I said, "No problem. And I can take you to your hotel." But I said, "I have time before." I said, "I have to be home at a certain time because my kids will be getting out of school. But until then, if you need to go anyplace, I'm happy to take you. If you want to go to the grocery store, you need to go shopping or whatever." And he goes, "I'd like to take you to lunch." And he took me out to lunch.
Oh,
And
how nice.
he told me some really good road stories. And he was nice as he could be. And then he called Sobel after I dropped him off and left. He called Sobel and he goes, "She does comedy, right?" And Sobel said, "Yeah, she's been doing comedy a little while." He said, "A couple of months." And Sobel said, she's going to be good someday. And he goes, "Well, she's going to be good this weekend because she's opening for me."
How nice.
And I thought that was really, really nice. So I got to open for him for 5 shows.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
And not only did they pay me opener money, but he did something that very few people have done. He walked up at the end and he hugged me, and then he took a hold of my hand and he put a wad of cash in my hand.
Oh, my gosh.
And he goes, "Thanks for picking me up." He goes, "I know you're taking me to the airport tomorrow." And he goes, "And thanks for treating me like a human being and not like a comedian." And I go, "Well, I thought I did treat you like a comedian." And he goes, "No." He goes, "You didn't ask me to open for me." He goes, "Do you know when other comics talk, all they want is what they can get?" And you and I both know that as well. I mean, how many times? Well, you're lucky because you're not working with a lot of other comedians. But most of the time, when a comic that's under you is with you, they want to know what you can do for them.
I wish that weren't true.
And you know what? I wasn't good enough to even go that far. I'm like, I'm not funny enough to ask for stuff yet. I'm not there yet.
Like Sam Kinison, I didn't know him. I didn't actually even meet him. I've seen his show. And then after his show at the main room in the Comedy Store, there was a big sort of after party in the belly room, which was upstairs. And I went there, and I was in the same room. I didn't visit with him, and I didn't introduce myself or whatever. But he seemed like a normal guy. And I think most comics that have a big character, it is a character. Like Bobcat Goldthwait, I don't think he is like his character at all.
No, when I told you I worked with him in the Stardom, I
Right.
was the feature act. He had just come back from the Caymans, and I had been in the Caymans 3 weeks before, and we both dived with the same guy down there, and we sat in the green room, and it was kind of like we were talking about diving, and all of a sudden the show started. And it's just like you and I can turn on and off the persona.
Right.
You don't have so much of a persona on stage.
I am who I am.
Yeah, you are who you are. But and you just watch him go up and do his thing and come off, and then he was like, "So when you were diving, which spots did you get?" And you go, "All right." But I like that. Because most of the time, the people that we talk to off stage, they don't want to know who you really are. They want to hang out with the person that they saw on stage.
Yeah, I think that's really true. The one person who you may know about that I don't, but I have my suspicions. I wonder if Emo Phillips, the character on stage, is who he really is off stage too.
Only seen Emu. What?
I think
Here we go.
That's an insurance commercial.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Emo Phillips. I only saw him and Judy Tenuta in the office one time with Sobel. I barely met them, but I don't think his character is a big deviation from who he is.
That if I had to guess, and I'm only guessing, I don't know for a fact, I think his character on stage may be a bit of an amplification, maybe even not, but I think that's probably who he kind of is.
He is, at least from what I saw. And Judy Tenuta was the same way. And, you know, the secretary in the office that worked in the office at that time, she and I were just kind of like, oh my God. And they were a couple at that time. They were dating.
They didn't did they ever marry or no?
I don't know. I don't know, but we knew they shouldn't breed. That was kind of, you know.
I would love to have actually seen their kid as a stand-up comic today. That would be an amazing dumpster fire, I think.
Yeah. I think so too. I think so too.
Oh, Mark said they did marry.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Hey, you know what? I mean, I'm somebody who doesn't mind putting in overtime.
Well, but, yeah, we are at the hour 10 mark. So,
you know, and I have a couple of calls.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do when we get off the podcast, because I'm in Arizona. I'm born and raised in Arizona. I grew up on Arizona Mexican food. And one thing we have here, and I say we, I'm no longer an Arizonan per se. I am at heart born and raised here, but I've been in Louisiana since 1990. But one thing Arizona has that nobody else has, and it's mostly Phoenix and Tucson, it's like a quesadilla, but it's not a quesadilla. It's called a cheese crisp, and it's served on a metal pizza pan, and it's flat open. It's not folded over. And what they do is they stick the cheddar cheese, whatever kind of cheese they put it on it, and they put it like either on the grill or in an oven. And the cheese melts, but also the flour tortilla gets really crispy. And you wouldn't think that because it's flat and crispy, it would be considerably different from a quesadilla, but they're nothing alike. So I think that when we're done, I'm probably going to go to a place and get a cheese crisp.
Yeah, and I was going to tell you something because Ashley, who happens to be somebody that I know, and I've heard that her husband is Brazilian, and they cook a lot of red beans and rice. I bet she would enjoy your recipe for red beans and rice.
I will have to write it down one day.
Yeah, or we'll do a video and send it to her. I've heard you could do a video like that and send it. You know, if somebody had the number.
Did you see the P.F. Chang commercial?
I love the P.F. Chang commercial.
I'm going to put it in the Dropbox for you.
Well,
so you want to do all the social media plugs?
Oh, I might as well. Everybody, if you want to follow Flip Orley, his website is Flip Orley. Oh, she makes black beans and pinto beans. Anyway, fliporley.com. His schedule is on there. Flip Orley at X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Is that everybody?
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X.
Road Comics Adventures, YouTube. Please subscribe. It would really help us a lot so we don't look pathetic. It's bad enough that when we do shows, we look pathetic. Let's not do it.
Not either. No, ma'am.
You can't even say it with a straight face, can you? You know what? We're a dumpster fire, but I like our little dumpster fire.
I do as well.
We got our little dumpster friends, and we just have a good time.
So
Road Comics Adventures on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X.
we're not very active on X.
No, that's me because it screws me all the time. X won't let me post on there. It won't let me tag it. So I'm done with X for Road Comics Adventures. But we're everywhere else.
Yeah.
And if you, you see, I thought it was Mark that said effing amazing. And I thought he was giving homage, and it was you. Yeah.
In fact, I made an accidental dish. It was also black beans, much like Ashley had mentioned, the black beans and pinto beans. And I was just throwing things together. I rarely cook from a recipe, and if I like something that I've made, I usually try to write it down so I can kind of recreate it. And it turned out to be really surprisingly good. I mean, I knew it would be edible. I knew it'd be edible, but even my kid, when he came over, was like, "Oh my God, Dad, this is amazing," and begged me to write it down because he wanted the recipe. So,
and your son does amazing bread.
Yeah, no, he's a great cook, great baker, great cook,
great baker. Yeah. So, with that said, guys, we're gonna get out of here next week. Join us when we have our guest, Mike Rivera, another 30+ year comic with some road stories. And I got a few road stories about him. Ashley, I think you'll remember one New Year's Eve where you and your brother and your sister and I spent the weekend in a condo with Mike Rivera, and we had a lot of fun. So in case anybody's wondering.
Don't forget to check out Bluesy.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I appreciate that, Martin, but I got my hands full. I can't do another.
Blue Sky. Did I read it wrong the first time? No.
No. Yeah, I cannot do any more social media. I got my hands full. I mean, I'm carrying a load.
And I would do more social media.
And that load is at fliporly.com.
Oh, one more thing. I do have a newsletter that I send out about once every 2 months. I would love for you to subscribe to my newsletter. You can do so from my website, fliporly.com. I don't sell email addresses. I don't spam people. It's about once every 2 months. Fliporly.com. Sign up for the newsletter.
Yes, sign up for the newsletter because that will give him something to keep him busy and keep him out of my way. You know, it does kind of make me nervous when at the beginning of the show you go, she manages my career. And I'm thinking, well, we'll see how. Well, it was nice while it lasted. Your career. I'm thinking 45 years was a long time, Flip.
We were one post away from a goat farm.
We were one post away. I'm still going to post the food, though, because it was gorgeous. And thank you for the commercial, both of them, the one that was on air and the one that was off. And we hope to see you guys next week. We're trying. And Mike Rivera is funny. You guys will love him. You guys will love him. So thanks a lot. Come back and again, subscribe if you don't mind.
Okay, this is the most awkward part of the podcast. I'm going to hit the end stream and it'll take anywhere. It's a little bit like overtime in soccer. You have no idea how much time you have until it ends. So
that wasn't how I was going to describe it. I was going to do an analogy of lining up a shot at the shooting range, but let's not go.
All right. So thank you all so much. And we hope to see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.
And stream.